March 25th, 2024. Dawn. The southern district of the city was burning. Not metaphorically, literally. Flames rose tens of meters into the air, forming a fiery vortex above the ruins of what used to be a shopping quarter. People were running, screaming, dying. But not from zombies, not from mutants. From a man. Joe Ming stood at the epicenter of destruction, his body enveloped in an aura of red-golden fire. A phoenix tattoo covered his entire back from neck to waist. The bird was drawn with incredible detail. Each feather blazed with living flame, wings spread wide, beak open in a silent scream. I watched him from the roof of a neighboring building. Beside me stood Lin, Feng, and 5 recruits, people with worthy tattoos who had sworn allegiance to me over the past 3 days. Liu May remained at the base. Healers are too valuable to risk in direct combat. Power, I asked Lin. She activated her tattoo, a serpent seer on her right forearm. The snake's eyes flashed gold, scanning Joe Ming. 2,847, she answered. Mythical phoenix tattoo, about 2 years old. Specialization, high-class fire. Additional runes on arms, temperature amplification. I nodded. In my past life, I met Joe Ming a year after the awakening. By then his power was already over 10,000. He ruled the southern provinces with an iron fist, burning everyone who dared to oppose him. But now he was weak. Only 2,847. Less than mine. Chen Hao. Feng placed a hand on my shoulder. Maybe we should try to negotiate. Phoenix and Dragon are ancient allies in legends. Perhaps he'll join us. I shook my head. Joe Ming isn't the type who serves. He's either master or dead. I know his type. How? Lin looked at me with suspicion. You talk about him as if you've known him for years. I didn't answer. Too many questions had begun arising over the past few days. How did I know about the awakening? How did I prepare so perfectly? How did I predict the appearance of strong players? Sooner or later I'd have to explain, but not now. Stay here, I ordered. This is between him and me. One against the Fire Lord? One of the recruits, a guy with a wolf tattoo, swallowed nervously. That's suicide, I smirked. We'll see. I jumped from the roof. Speed symbols on my legs flashed, slowing the fall. I landed on the asphalt softly like a cat, just 20 meters from Joe Ming. He turned toward me. His face was young, maybe 25. Handsome features, but distorted by a mad smile. His eyes burned not metaphorically, but literally. Pupils blazed with orange light. Another one? His voice was low, guttural. Another fool thinking he can stop me? He pointed at the bodies around him, a dozen corpses charred beyond recognition. These were the strongest in the southern district. One had a tiger, another had a bear. A third had a whole pack of wolves on his chest. All dead, burned in seconds. He took a step forward, leaving burning footprints behind. So who are you? Show me your power before I turn you to ash. I slowly removed my shirt. The dragon on my back revealed itself. 8 wings unfurled, each glowing with its own color. Runes on my arms pulsed. The mandala on my chest rotated. Joe Ming froze. The smile vanished from his face. This is... He took a step back. Bamen Longshen? 8 divine? How do you have... Preparation, I answered simply. I knew what was coming and made the right choice. The system activated in my consciousness. Opponent detected. Name, Joe Ming power, 2,847 class, Fire Lord danger, medium, medium. For me, medium. Joe Ming gritted his teeth. Doesn't matter what tattoo you have. Fire is the king of all elements. It burns everything, even dragons. He raised both hands and the phoenix on his back spread its wings. A wave of fire 3 meters high surged toward me. I raised my left hand. Control runes lit up. Water wall. A barrier of pure water materialized before me, 3 meters high, 2 meters wide. The fire wave struck it and disappeared. Turned to steam that dissipated in the air. Joe Ming paled. Impossible, my temperature exceeds 2,000 degrees. Fire is indeed strong, I agreed, taking a step forward. But I have 8 elements. Water extinguishes fire, earth suffocates it, ice freezes it. I activated the ice wing. The temperature around me dropped dozens of degrees in a second. The asphalt under my feet covered with frost. The air crystallized. Let me show you the difference between a king of one element and a god of all 8. I waved my hand. Ice spears materialized in the air, a dozen razor-sharp ice pikes. They hung around me, trembling with restrained energy. Joe Ming tried to burn them with a fire wave, but ice created by a mythical tattoo was too strong. Flames licked the spears but didn't melt them. Fly. The spears shot forward at bullet speed. Joe Ming waved his hands, creating a fire shield. Several spears evaporated on contact, but the rest broke through. One pierced his left shoulder, another his right thigh, a third embedded in his stomach. He screamed, falling to his knees. Blood flowed from the wounds, evaporating from the heat of his body. The phoenix on his back fluttered, trying to restore its master, but the damage was too severe. I approached closer, stood over him. In my past life, you became one of the 3 tyrants of this world, burned millions, ruled with fire and fear. Joe Ming raised his head, looking at me with incomprehension. Past life? Yes, but in this life, everything is different. In this life, I'll stop the tyrants before they grow. I raised my right hand. Berserker runes flashed, tripling my power. Stone armor of the earth element covered my fist. You have a choice, Joe Ming. Swear allegiance to me. Serve me. Use your fire for my purposes, or die here and now. He looked at me with a long gaze. I saw the struggle in his eyes. Pride versus survival instinct. Finally, he slowly lowered his head. I swear allegiance. Not enough. I pressed my foot on the ice spear in his shoulder, and he cried out in pain. System. Oath contract. A glowing scroll materialized in the air between us, one of the awakening functions that few knew about this early. Oath contract. Between Chen Hao, Master, and Joe Ming, Servant. Terms. Joe Ming swears absolute loyalty to Chen Hao. Joe Ming will not betray, attack, or deceive Chen Hao. In exchange, Chen Hao provides protection and resources. Violation of contract. Immediate death of violator. Sign, I ordered, with blood. Joe Ming, with a trembling hand, touched the scroll. His blood was absorbed into the parchment, and runes flashed red. The contract wrapped around his neck like an invisible chain. The system confirmed. Contract concluded. Joe Ming is now bound by oath. I stepped back and the ice spears disappeared. Liu May, I called toward our base. A minute later, she ran up, her healer tattoo, lotus on her back, already glowing green. She knelt beside Joe Ming and began healing his wounds. Feng and the others descended from the roof. You accepted him? Lin was surprised. After what he did? Fire is useful when directed properly, I answered. Joe Ming is strong. With my guidance, he'll become stronger. And the oath contract guarantees he won't betray. I looked at my new subordinate. Welcome to the new world, Joe Ming. A world where I rule. 3 weeks later. April 15th, 2024. My territory had grown. What started as 1 block in the city center now encompassed 5 districts. Under my control were more than 1,000 people. Not all with tattoos, but all useful. I created a system, a hierarchy. At the top, me. Lord of Elements with power 4,921. I grew faster than others thanks to constant battles. Below me, Inner Circle Feng Yuan, power 2,134. Advisor and Master of Ancient Summons Joe Ming, power 3,456. Fire General bound by oath Lin Xiao, power 1,876. Scout and Tactician Liu May, power 723 but irreplaceable as healer. Below, Captains. 20 people with power from 500 to 1,500, each commanding a squad of 50. And at the very bottom, ordinary people. Those who had no tattoos or had weak drawings. They worked, built, extracted resources. I wasn't a tyrant. I fed them, protected them, gave them a roof over their heads. But in return demanded absolute obedience. In the new world, this was the only way to survive. I stood in my office, the former mayor's office, which I occupied after the previous owner tried to expel me and was burned by Joe Ming. Before me on the table lay a map of the province. Red marks indicated territories under my control. Blue, neutral zones. Black, hostile. There were 3 black ones, one in the north. A gang had settled there under the leadership of a woman with a 9-tailed fox tattoo. I remembered her from my past life, Su Lin, the seductress. Her power was in mental control and illusions. The second in the west, a group of military deserters with a powerful arsenal and warrior tattoos. Their leader wore a 1,000-armed Asura tattoo. The third in the east, a trading guild. They weren't strong in combat, but controlled supplies of food, water, medicine. Their leader was clever, an old man with a golden commerce dragon tattoo. 3 fronts, 3 threats. Lin entered the office without knocking. Chen Hao, news arrived. The trading guild in the east is proposing a meeting. They want to discuss an alliance. Alliance? I smirked. Or a trap? Possibly both, she shrugged. But they're offering favorable terms, exchange of resources for protection. I thought. In my past life, the trading guild lasted long, until the 5th year of the apocalypse. They were masters of diplomacy and manipulation. I accept, but the meeting is on neutral territory, and I'm taking Joe Ming. Understood. 2 days later, neutral zone. The meeting took place in an abandoned restaurant on the border between my territory and the guild's lands. I sat at a long table. To my right, Joe Ming, his fire aura smoldering on standby. To my left, Feng, calm and imperturbable. Opposite sat him, Old Man Wang, head of the trading guild. 70 years old, thin, with penetrating eyes. A golden dragon tattoo coiled around his right arm, scales shimmering in candlelight. Beside him, 2 bodyguards, both with rare guardian tattoos. Chen Hao. The old man smiled, but the smile didn't reach his eyes. Heard a lot about you. The youngest lord in the city, bearer of the legendary Baman Longshen. Impressive. Old Man Wang, I nodded. Your reputation also precedes you. They say you can sell water to a fish. He laughed. Flattering. But let's get to business. I propose an alliance. You get priority access to our resources, food, water, medicine, even information about enemy movements. In return, you provide protection for our caravans and warehouses. Sounds profitable, I agreed. Too profitable. Where's the catch? Old Man Wang leaned back. No catch, just realism. My guild is strong in trade but weak in combat. You're the opposite. Symbiosis. I studied him with my gaze. The system prompted, lie detected. Probability of hidden motives. 87%, of course. The old man was hiding something. Fine, I said slowly. I agree, but on one condition. What? You give me full access to your information network. All intelligence, all rumors, all gossip. Uncensored. The old man's face froze for a moment. That's quite a demanding condition. That's my condition. Silence hung in the air. Finally, the old man nodded. Deal. We shook hands. The contract was concluded, not magical but political. In the new world, that also carried weight. When we left the restaurant, Joe Ming whispered, I don't trust him. And rightly so, I answered quietly. He's planning something, but as long as he's useful, we'll play his game. And when he tries to betray us, I let fire flare on my palm. We'll be ready. April 22nd, 2024. Midnight. An explosion woke me. I jumped out of bed, runes on my body already blazing with battle light. Through the window I saw fire, not ordinary, but green, unnatural. It was devouring the eastern wing of my headquarters. The system howled a warning. Attack on base. Attackers 47 people, average power 890 liter, unknown. Power 4,200 plus. 4,200, almost like mine. The door burst open. Lin ran in, blood flowing from a gash above her eyebrow. Betrayal. Trading guild? They infiltrated through tunnels under the warehouse that they themselves helped us build. Of course, I was an idiot to trust Old Man Wang even 1 iota. Where's Joe Ming? Feng? Joe Ming is fighting on the first floor. Feng is evacuating civilians through the west exit. Another explosion shook the building. Liu May? Lin paled. They grabbed her, dragged her to the east wing before we realized what was happening. Rage flared in my chest. The dragon on my back roared, sensing its master's emotions. How many of ours? 12 captains dead, 8 more wounded, lost about 100 ordinary soldiers. 100 people, in 10 minutes. I pulled on pants, threw on a jacket, not for warmth, but to hide the tattoos until the right moment. Element of surprise. Gather everyone capable of fighting. We meet in the central hall in 2 minutes. Lin nodded and disappeared. I activated mental communication, one of the Heart of Tao abilities that few knew about. Joe Ming, do you hear? His voice sounded in my consciousness, interspersed with sounds of battle. I hear, Master. There are too many. They have someone with a water elemental tattoo. He's extinguishing my fire. Hold for 3 minutes. I'm coming. Understood. I ran out of the room. The central hall had turned into a slaughterhouse. Bodies lay everywhere, ours and theirs. Walls were slashed with claws, scorched with flame, cracked by blows of incredible force. Joe Ming fought in the center, surrounded by 5 opponents. His phoenix blazed, but indeed next to him stood a man with a water elemental tattoo on his chest. And each time Joe Ming released a fire wave, the water user created a shield, turning flame into steam. But what interested me most was the 6th person. He stood to the side watching the battle. Tall, about 2 meters, broad shoulders. His entire body was covered with tattoos, not one large one, but hundreds of small ones. Animals, demons, spirits, runes. Every square centimeter of skin was inscribed. The system scanned him. Name, Shukai. Power, 4,287 class, Spirit Collector. Ability, summoning multiple minor spirits, Spirit Collector. A rare development path. Instead of one powerful tattoo, many weak ones that work as a team. His eyes met mine. So you're the famous Chen Hao. His voice was low, mocking. Old Man Wang told me a lot about you. Genius. Prophet. Bearer of the 8 divine. He took a step forward and all the tattoos on his body came alive. Wolves, tigers, snakes, eagles. Dozens of creatures materialized around him. Semi-transparent, but deadly dangerous. Let's see how good you are. He snapped his fingers. The beast horde rushed at me. I threw off my jacket. The dragon on my back unfurled in all its glory. 8 wings spread, each blazing with energy of its element. Runes on arms and legs lit up. The mandala on my chest spun. Power exploded from my body. Activation, full awakening mode. Power 4,921 to 7,382. Heart of Tao amplification plus 50%. 7,000. The wolves reached me first. I waved my right hand. Berserker runes tripled my strength. The lightning wing released a discharge. Purple energy flashed, covering a space within a 5-meter radius. Wolves howled and dispersed, turning to smoke. Tigers jumped from the flanks. I summoned Earth Element. Stone spikes grew from the floor, piercing spirits through. Eagles attacked from above. The Ice Wing responded with a hail of ice shards, shooting down birds like targets at a range. Snakes tried to coil around my legs. The Fire Wing turned them to ash. In less than 10 seconds, I destroyed the entire first wave. Shukai whistled. Impressive, but that was a warm-up. He raised both hands and all the tattoos on his torso lit up simultaneously. The air trembled from the energy release. Warning, opponent using forbidden technique. Fusion of 100 spirits. Temporary power. 4,287 to 8,900 and 8,900. All his summoned creatures, wolves, tigers, snakes, eagles, bears, dragons, demons, began merging together. Their bodies united, forming something huge, chimeric. In a moment, before me stood a creature the height of a 3-story building. Dragon head, tiger body, eagle wings, snake tail. 100 eyes looked at me with murderous fury. The chimera roared. The sound shook the walls. Die, Chen Hao! It lunged forward, faster than something that huge had any right to move. Claws the size of swords slashed at me. I summoned a water shield. The barrier appeared a moment before impact. The claws tore through the water but slowed enough for me to dodge. I jumped to the side, speed runes accelerating me to superhuman swiftness. The chimera turned, its snake tail trying to loop around me. I struck with my fist. Earth armor reinforced the blow. The fist punched through the tail's scales, and the chimera howled in pain. But it didn't stop. Eagle wings flapped, creating wind that hurled me into a wall. I crashed into concrete, forming a crater. HP, 6,234 over 7,382. Painful, but not fatal. I pulled myself out of the wall. The dragon on my back blazed with fury. Enough games, it growled in my consciousness. Show this pathetic collection of spirits what true power means. Yes, time to stop holding back. I raised both hands. All 8 wings flashed simultaneously. Fusion of 8 elements. This was my trump card, a technique I developed over the past 3 weeks, experimenting with Baemin Longshen's capabilities. Fire, water, earth, air, lightning, ice, darkness, light. All 8 elements began rotating around me, merging into a single sphere of energy. The sphere grew, 1 meter in diameter, 2, 3. Temperature in the hall jumped from -40 to +1,000 in seconds. The floor cracked, walls melted, air ionized. Attack power, 15,000. 15,000, 3 times my base power. Vanish. I hurled the sphere at the chimera. The creature tried to dodge but was too huge, too slow. The sphere struck its chest, and the world exploded with light. When the smoke cleared, the chimera was gone. In its place lay Shukai, body charred, half his tattoos burned away. He was still breathing, but barely. I approached him, crouched down. Old Man Wang promised. He rasped through a destroyed throat. Promised you weren't that strong, that your reputation was exaggeration. He lied, I answered simply. He wanted to use you as cannon fodder, test my true strength without risking his own people. Understanding flickered in Shukai's eyes, then rage. That bastard! He coughed blood. The system blinked. Opportunity detected. Target dying new ability available. Tattoo devouring by absorbing a dying opponent with tattoos. You can steal part of their power, activate. I froze. This was new. In my past life, I hadn't heard of such an ability, but then I had no tattoos at all, so maybe... Yes, I said aloud. The system activated. My hands began glowing black gold. I touched Shukai's chest. His tattoos, all hundreds of tiny drawings, began peeling from his skin. Literally, they transformed into glowing threads of energy that were sucked into my palms. Shukai screamed in pain but couldn't move. The process was irreversible. After a minute, his skin was clean. All tattoos had disappeared, and devouring complete. Obtained. Spirit power, plus 423 new ability. Summoning minor spirits, level 1. Technique, spirit fusion, weakened version. Power, 4,921 to 5,344. 400 power points from 1 kill. Incredible. Shukai stopped breathing, his eyes glazed over. I stood looking at my body. No new tattoos appeared. Apparently the power was absorbed by existing patterns, strengthening them. Joe Ming ran up to me, limping. Master, what did you do? I saw his tattoos. New ability. I wiped my hands. Seems Baemin Longshen can devour others' tattoo power. Joe Ming's eyes widened with awe and fear. This makes you invincible. Every killed enemy makes you stronger. Exactly so. I looked at the bodies scattered around the hall, about 30 dead enemies. Everyone with tattoos, I ordered, drag their bodies here, now. The next hour I spent devouring tattoos of the dead. Not all were worth attention, most were weaklings with power less than 200. But several captains in Shukai's squad had rare patterns. Total absorbed, 27 tattoos. Total power gain, plus 891. Power 5,344 to 6,235. 6,235. I became the strongest in the city. Possibly in the province, but it was too early to celebrate. Lin, I called. Status? She approached, still bloodied but alive. Enemies retreated after your victory over Shukai. Captured Liu May and escaped through eastern tunnels. Our losses, 134 dead, 67 wounded. A third of headquarters destroyed. Liu May is alive? For now, yes, they took her as a hostage. Old Man Wang. Cunning bastard. He sent Shukai and the squad to their deaths, knowing they would lose. But while we were occupied with battle, his real squad grabbed Liu May and fled. Now he has leverage. Feng entered the hall, his face grim. Chen Hao just received a message from the trading guild. Magic bird. He handed me a small scroll. I unrolled it. Dear Chen Hao, my apologies for the rudeness of this night. But business is business. Your healer is with me now. Alive and unharmed. For now. If you want her back, come alone. Tomorrow, dawn, old factory on the eastern outskirts. You know where. Bring an army. She dies. Try to cheat. She dies. Be late. She dies. See the pattern? Respectfully, Old Man Wang. I crumpled the scroll. Joe Ming placed a hand on my shoulder. It's a trap, Master. He wants to lure you into an ambush and kill you. Of course it's a trap, I agreed. But I have no choice. Liu May is too valuable. Then let me come with you. Together we... No, I shook my head. He'll be watching. If he sees anyone but me, he'll kill her. I must go alone. Lin stepped forward. Then at least take this. She handed me a small amulet, a jade beetle. My serpent tattoo can create linked insects. This beetle is my eyes and ears. Hide it on yourself. I'll see and hear everything that happens. If something goes wrong, we'll come. I took the amulet. Thank you. Feng asked, and what will you do at the meeting? I smiled, a cold, predatory smile. What I do best, turn his trap against himself, and then... The dragon on my back stirred, anticipating. I'll devour his power and destroy the trading guild once and for all. April 23rd. Dawn. The old factory was a ruin from the past. A Soviet building abandoned decades ago. Rusty pipes, broken windows, walls covered with graffiti. I walked through the central passage, alone. The beetle amulet was hidden in my pocket. Lin saw everything. In the center of the hall stood a throne, literally a massive chair of metal and leather. Old Man Wang sat on it, his golden dragon glimmering in morning light. Beside him stood 8 bodyguards, all with tattoos no lower than rare level. Each one's power around 1,500. And before the throne, on her knees, hands tied behind her back, Liu May. She raised her head, saw me. Hope flashed in her eyes, but she didn't speak. Old Man Wang smirked. Chen Hao, punctual as always, and indeed came alone, impressively foolish. Release her, I said in an even voice. I'm here. This is what you wanted. Oh, I wanted much more, the old man stood. I wanted to see you dead. You see, you're growing too fast, too strong, too ambitious. You're a threat to the order I'm building. He snapped his fingers. The bodyguards surrounded me. Bodyguards? My 8 best warriors against one of you. Even with your Bauman Longshen, the odds aren't in your favor. I looked at each of them. Scanned with system, 4 with beast tattoos, 2 with elemental runes, 1 with demon tattoo, 1 with angel tattoo. Total power about 12,000, against my 6,235. Bad odds for an ordinary person, but I was no longer ordinary. Old Man Wang, I said calmly. You made 2 mistakes. What? First, you think 8 against 1 is a lot. I threw off my jacket. The dragon unfurled, 8 wings glowed. For me, it's just 8 sources of new power. The old man frowned. What? Second mistake, I smiled. You thought I came to save Liu May. I looked at her. I'm sorry. And activated the ability. April 23rd. Dawn. Old factory. Black gold threads of energy exploded from my hands, spreading in all directions like tentacles of a predatory plant. Old Man Wang's bodyguards didn't even have time to react. Threads coiled around them, burrowing into skin where tattoos were located. They screamed, all 8 simultaneously. Their bodies began glowing, patterns peeling away, transforming into pure energy. But that wasn't all. The threads spread further. To Liu May, her eyes widened in horror. Chen Hao. No. What are you... I saw it as if in slow motion. Threads reached her back where her healer lotus bloomed. Rare tattoo. Valuable. My hand jerked. I tried to stop the process, recalled the threads. But mass mode was uncontrollable. The system warned. Warning, mass devouring cannot be selective. All tattoos within 15-meter radius will be absorbed. No, no, stop, cancel, I barked. But it was too late. Liu May's lotus began tearing from her skin. She screamed, not from pain, but from horror of understanding. Chen Hao, why? Her voice broke off. Eyes rolled back. Body went limp. The healer tattoo was her life. Literally. She had merged with it so much that without it, her heart simply stopped. Liu May fell face down, dead. Time seemed to freeze. I stood staring at her body, at my hands still blazing with black gold light. Energy continued flowing. Tattoos of 8 bodyguards and Liu May were being sucked into me. The system methodically counted, devouring complete. Absorbed Guardian Tiger, rare. plus 287 Berserker Bear, rare, plus 312 Wolf Pack, uncommon, plus 156 Scout Hawk, uncommon, plus 134 Fire Rune, rare, plus 298 Ice Rune, rare, plus 276 Fury Demon, legendary, plus 892 Protection Angel, legendary, plus 834 Healer Lotus, legendary, plus 1,124. Total, plus 4,313. Power, 6,235 to 10,548. 10,548. I crossed the threshold. I became one of the strongest in the world, but at what cost? The bodyguards' bodies collapsed, all dead, their skin clean as babies. Tattoo devouring killed the bearer if the pattern was too integrated with life forces. And Liu May. I slowly sank to my knees beside her, turned her body over, eyes open, empty, skin pale. On her back where the lotus once bloomed, now only clean skin. I killed her. Not the enemy, not Old Man Wang. Me, with my greed, with my desire for power. Something broke inside me. Not guilt. I buried that feeling in my past life. But awareness. I crossed the line, became what I hated. A monster who sacrifices others for power? God? Old Man Wang's voice tore me from my stupor. I raised my head. He stood by the throne, face whiter than chalk. His golden dragon glowed dimly. He was preparing to flee. You killed them all, including your woman. He backed toward the rear door. You're a monster. A real monster. I stood. My body blazed with energy. Power boiled in my veins, demanding release. The dragon on my back roared. Its voice thundered in my consciousness. He's right. You're a monster, but that's good. Monsters rule the world. Now kill him. Devour his power. Become even stronger. No. For the first time in 3 weeks, I refused the dragon. Run, I told Old Man Wang quietly. Run and pray I never find you. Because when I do... I looked at Liu May's body. What I'll do to you will make death seem like mercy. Old Man Wang didn't tempt fate. He turned and ran, his golden dragon glowing, accelerating movement. I could catch him, easily. My power now was twice his. But I didn't. Because for the first time I understood. Power without control is a curse. I returned to base carrying Liu May's body in my arms. Feng, Lin, and Joe Ming met me at the gates. Lin saw the body first. The beetle amulet showed her everything that happened. Her face hardened. You killed her? Yes. Accidentally? I could have lied, said it was a mistake, an accident, but I was tired of lying. I activated the ability knowing the risk. I chose power over her. Silence. Joe Ming turned away, his face unreadable. Feng shook his head, disappointment in his eyes. Lin approached closer. For a moment I thought she would hit me. Instead, she took the body from my arms. I'll arrange a proper funeral for her, she said coldly. Not because you deserve it, but because she deserves it. She left, carrying Liu May. I stood alone in the courtyard, surrounded by ruins of my headquarters. The system blinked. Achievement unlocked, Path of the Tyrant. You sacrificed an ally for power. Bonus plus 10% to tattoo. Devouring effectiveness penalty, minus 50% to loyalty of all subordinates, Path of the Tyrant. Of course, I checked team status. Feng Yuan. Loyalty 67% to 34%. Lin Xiao, loyalty 78% to 28%. Zhou Ming, loyalty 100%. Oath to 100%, but personal trust 12%. I lost their respect. Perhaps forever, but I gained power, 10,000. Enough to rule the city with an iron fist, enough that no one would dare challenge. Was it worth it? I didn't know the answer. 3 days later. April 26th. Liu May's funeral was quiet. She was buried on a hill outside the city where she loved to walk before the awakening. 20 people attended, those who knew her personally. I didn't come. I had no place among the mourners. Instead, I stood on the headquarters roof watching the sunset. Feng climbed the stairs, stood beside me silently. A minute passed in silence. Finally, he spoke. In old text, there's a warning. He who devours others' power will himself be devoured from within. Metaphor? I asked. Reality, he looked at me. Tattoo devouring is an ancient forbidden technique. Only the darkest cults practiced it. Know why it's forbidden? I was silent. Because each absorbed tattoo brings not only power, it brings an echo of the bearer's personality, their desires, fears, rage. All this accumulates inside the devourer, and sooner or later. He didn't finish, but I understood. Sooner or later I would lose myself, become a collection of other souls imprisoned in one body. How much time do I have? I asked. Don't know. Maybe a year? Maybe 10 years. Depends on how much you devour. And is there a way to stop it? Feng shook his head. Only one. Stop devouring. I laughed, bitterly. But if I stop, others will catch up to me, become stronger. Kill me. Then you've already chosen your path. Feng turned to the stairs. I'll stay with you, Chen Hao. Because I gave my word, but know this. When you finally lose yourself, when you become a monster without humanity, I'll be the one to stop you. He left. I was alone again. A message came at night. A magic bird, a phoenix the size of a sparrow, flew through the window and scattered into sparks. A scroll remained on the floor. I unrolled it. Chen Hao, you don't know me, but I know you. Heard of your exploits, of your power, of your special ability. I represent an organization that exists in shadows. We gather the strongest, prepare them for what's coming. The awakening is only the beginning. In 6 months, the second awakening will occur. Ancient spirits, sealed for millennia, will break free. Creatures with power 50,000 plus. They will wipe humanity from the face of the earth. If you want to survive, if you want to become strong enough to oppose them, come. Coordinates attached. P.S. Old Man Wang is with us now. He tried to dig up an ancient spirit from a sealed tomb to kill you. The fool awakened what should not have been awakened. The spirit broke free. And now it's heading to your city. Will arrive in 48 hours. Power. 17,000. Good luck. The scroll caught fire and turned to ash. I stood, digesting the information. Ancient spirit. 17,000 power against my 10.5. Bad odds. No, not just bad. Suicidal. I could run, evacuate the city, go west, hide. But then the spirit would destroy everything I built. Kill everyone I protected, including Feng, Lin, Joe Ming. I went down to the hall where my inner circle had gathered. All three looked at me, waiting. In 2 days, an ancient spirit will come here, and I said without preamble. A creature with 17,000 power. Old Man Wang accidentally awakened it, trying to use it against me. Lin paled. Joe Ming clenched his fists. Feng closed his eyes. Evacuate the city? Lin asked. No time. 2,000 people won't get far enough away. The spirit will catch them. Then we fight, Joe Ming stepped forward. All together, the whole army. I shook my head. Ordinary soldiers will be dead weight. The spirit will destroy them with one move. Then what? Feng opened his eyes. You're planning to fight alone? No, I looked at them. I'm planning to use the dragon's forbidden technique. All three froze. Fusion with the tattoo spirit, Feng whispered. You'll become a dragon, completely. Your power will multiply by 5, but I might not come back, I finished. The dragon might consume my personality. I'll become a beast, a monster without reason. Probability? Lin asked. 80%. Silence. So you're sacrificing yourself? Joe Ming looked at me with new respect. After what you did to Liu May, I thought you were completely mired in hunger for power, but you can still sacrifice. Not sacrifice, I shook my head. Calculation. If the spirit destroys the city, I'll be left without a base, without resources, without an army. Easier to risk it and win. But that was a lie. The truth was I was tired. Tired of cold calculations, of sacrifices, of becoming a monster. Maybe fusion with the dragon and loss of humanity was exactly what I deserved. Feng seemed to read my thoughts. If you turn into a beast, he said quietly, I'll fulfill my promise. I'll stop you. I know, I smiled. That's why I trust you to stay alive. I remained alone on the roof, closed my eyes, activated the connection with the dragon. Are you ready, old friend? The dragon's voice thundered in my consciousness, full of anticipation. I've waited 1,000 years for this, mortal. A battle worthy of my power, yes, I'm ready. Then let's become one. I activated the forbidden technique. Spirit fusion activation. Warning, irreversible process, probability of personality loss. 82% continue? Yes, the world exploded with pain. My body began changing. Bones lengthened, broke, fused anew. Skin hardened, covering with scales. Arms transformed into clawed paws. Wings tore from my back, real ones of flesh and bone. I screamed, but the sound turned into a roar. Bestial, inhuman roar. The dragon was consuming me, or was I consuming it? We merged, boundaries blurred. Human thoughts floated away. Only instincts remained. Hunt, kill, dominate. Number 1, I must remain myself. Must. Fusion, 50%. I grew 3 meters, 5, 10. 8 wings spread, each the size of a house. Scales covered my entire body. Iridescent, shimmering with all colors of elements. A tail grew, long, muscular, capable of destroying a building with one strike. Fusion, 75%. The human part of consciousness shrank. I forgot my name, forgot why I was doing this. Only this remained. Enemy, Titan, kill. Fusion, 100%. Transformation complete. New form, incarnation of 8 divine power, 10,548 to 52,740. 52,000. I roared. The sound shook the entire city, shattering windows within a kilometer radius. The Earth Kaiju heard the challenge. Its single eye turned to me. We met gazes, Titan against Dragon, and the battle for the city began. April 28th, noon. I lunged forward. Wings flapped, creating hurricane winds. Buildings beneath them tilted, roofs torn off like paper. I crossed a kilometer in 3 seconds. The Earth Kaiju met me with a strike. A stone fist the size of a truck crashed into my chest. Scales cracked. I was hurled back, crashed into a skyscraper, punching through it. HP 48,920 over 52,740. Pain, but not human. Bestial, primal. It didn't weaken. On the contrary, it ignited fury. I burst from the ruins, roared, and released elemental breath. Fire, lightning, and ice merged into one stream 5 meters wide. The rainbow beam struck the kaiju, burning through stone armor. The Titan growled, a sound like a mountain collapse, and raised all 4 arms. The earth beneath it exploded. Stone spikes the height of houses grew and shot at me. I dodged the first. The second shattered against my wing. The third pierced my side. HP 45,234 over 52,740. Blood, black, smoking, gushed from the wound. But regeneration was already working. Flesh fused, bones closed. Instinct screamed, close combat. Tear, devour. I obeyed. Dove down, claws extended. Struck the kaiju in the head with all my weight. 30 tons of dragon fury. The strike shook the air. The Titan swayed, cracks ran across its stone skull. But it didn't fall. Instead, it grabbed me with 2 hands by the neck. With a third hand struck my stomach. With a fourth hit my wing. Bones crunched. I roared from pain and rage. The mind, that tiny human part that still remained, screamed, use elements, tactics. Don't degrade to a beast. But the bestial part was stronger. Only claws. Only fangs. I sank my teeth into the kaiju's stone shoulder, jaws clenched with 50 tons of force. Stone cracked, tore out a piece and spat it out. The Titan howled, hurled me to the ground. Asphalt exploded. I crashed through the street into underground metro tunnels. Rails flattened under my body. HP 41,002 over 52,740. I lay in a crater, breathing heavily. Smoke poured from my nostrils. The kaiju's single eye looked down from above. It glowed brighter, preparing for the final strike. Runes on its body flashed, energy concentrated. Warning, opponent activating forbidden technique. Apocalypse earthquake. Damage, 40,000 plus in 5 kilometers radius. 40,000. This would destroy half the city, kill everyone. Feng, Lin, Joe Ming, thousands of civilians. No. The human part flared brighter. Memories flooded, Feng patiently applying the tattoo. Lin giving the amulet before battle. Joe Ming swearing allegiance. Liu May. Liu May dying from my greed. I won't let them die again. The mind pushed instincts aside, took control. I jumped to my paws, 8 wings spread. Activated all elements simultaneously. Fire coiled around claws, lightning ran across scales, ice covered fangs, earth strengthened bones, water healed wounds, air accelerated movement, darkness absorbed surrounding light, light concentrated in eyes. The heart of Dao Mandala, now grown into the dragon chest, spun, binding everything into a single system. Activation: 8-element destruction. Attack power 78,000. Cost all remaining HP 78,000. Enough! I roared and shot upward, breaking through asphalt. Appeared before the kaiju at the moment it released the earthquake. Strike met strike. Earthquake against 8-element destruction. 40,000 against 78. The world exploded with light. The explosion was visible 50 kilometers away. The shockwave leveled everything within a kilometer radius. Buildings turned to dust, earth cracked, forming a crater 20 meters deep. When the smoke cleared, the Earth Kaiju was gone. Only scattered stone remained, glowing runes slowly fading. In the center of the crater lay I. The dragon form was collapsing. Scales fell off, wings melted, claws retracted, human body returned. But not completely. Arms remained partially covered with scales, black with iridescent sheen. Eyes burned gold, dragon gaze. On my back the tattoo came fully alive. The dragon was now not a drawing but part of me. I felt its presence constantly like a second soul. Transformation cancelled, 87%. Residual changes, irreversible. You are forever partially a dragon. HP, 127 over 52,000, 740. I was barely alive. Body burned with pain. Each breath was agony. The system warned, critical condition, regeneration. Insufficient immediate treatment required. I tried to stand. Couldn't. Arms wouldn't obey. Consciousness swam. The last thing I saw, figures running toward me through smoke, Feng, Lin, Joe Ming, and someone fourth, a stranger in white cloak, then darkness. I woke up 3 days later. Opened my eyes, white ceiling, smell of antiseptic, quiet hum of medical equipment. I was in a hospital, more precisely in that part of my headquarters converted into a hospital. Turned my head. Beside the bed sat Lin, sleeping, leaning on the edge of the mattress. I tried to move my arm, it obeyed, still covered with scales but functional. The movement woke Lin. She jumped up, eyes widened. Chen Hao, you woke up. Voice was hoarse. How long did I sleep? 3 days. You were on the brink of death. Regeneration barely managed. We didn't know if you'd survive. She pressed the call button. A minute later, Feng and Joe Ming ran in. Master! Joe Ming approached closer. You won. The kaiju is dead. The city is saved. I looked at my hands. Scales, claws instead of nails. At what cost? Feng answered, 1/2 kilometer of city destroyed. 300 people died from the shockwave. Another 500 wounded. 300 dead. Added to the number of people I killed, another 300. But you saved the remaining 2,000, Feng added quietly. If not for you, the kaiju would have erased the city from the face of the earth. Everyone would have died. I felt no relief, only fatigue. The changes? I asked, pointing to the scales. Irreversible. Feng shook his head. You merged with the dragon too deeply. Part of it remains in you forever. Arms, eyes, fragments across the body. You're no longer fully human. You're a hybrid, Lin smiled weakly. Like Joe Ming and me. Welcome to the Monster Club. I wanted to smile back but couldn't. Instead asked, who was the fourth? Saw a stranger in white. The three exchanged glances. About him, Feng nodded. He's waiting to meet you, said he flew from far away. On business. What business? Didn't say, only that it concerns your future. I sat up in bed, ignoring the pain. Bring him. The stranger entered 5 minutes later. A man about 40. Tall, athletic. White cloak hid most of his body, but I saw the edge of a tattoo on his neck. Complex pattern resembling wings. Eyes were silver, not lenses. Real silver color. Result of rare tattoo. The system scanned him. Error, scan blocked. Target has protection from analysis. Interesting, only very strong or very cautious had such protection. He stopped by the bed, studying me with his gaze. Chen Hao, Lord of Elements, Kaiju Slayer, Tattoo Devourer. His voice was calm, almost emotionless. Impressive resume for 3 weeks. Who are you? I asked directly. My name is Bai Long. I represent the organization Eternal Ark. Heard of us? I shook my head. Not surprising, we work in shadows. Gather the strongest from around the world. Prepare them for what's coming. He took out a scroll, the same one that arrived as a bird 3 days ago. The second awakening will occur in 5 months and 12 days. Ancient spirits will break free. There are over 300 worldwide. Average power 30,000. The strongest reach 100,000. 100,000, twice my power even in dragon form. If humanity doesn't unite, Bai Long continued, we'll go extinct in a month. The Eternal Ark was created to prevent that. We find people with legendary tattoos, train them, strengthen them. Form an army capable of opposing the spirits. And you want to recruit me, I finished. Yes, your devouring ability is unique. With proper preparation and resources, you can reach 50,000 power in 5 months. Become one of our army's generals. I looked at him with a long gaze. And in return? You obey Ark command. Fight where you're sent. Protect humanity, not just your city. Sounds like slavery. Bai Long smirked, showing emotion for the first time. Sounds like survival. You're free to refuse. Stay here, rule your little kingdom. But when the spirits come, and they will, you'll die. Along with everyone you protect. Silence hung in the room. Feng, Lin, and Joe Ming looked at me, awaiting decision. I thought, in my past life, I hadn't heard of the Eternal Ark? Maybe they existed then too, but worked so covertly that information didn't reach me. Or it's something new. Appeared because I changed the timeline. Yeah, second awakening. 300 ancient spirits. This explained much. Why in my past life the world collapsed so quickly? Why even the strongest tyrants couldn't survive? If what Bai Long says is true, I have no choice. I agree, I said, on one condition. What? My people come with me. Feng, Lin, Joe Ming, and anyone from my city who wants to join. You provide their protection and training. Bai Long thought for a second. Deal, we'll accept everyone with power above 500. The rest can stay in a protected zone we'll create. He extended his hand. I shook it. The scaly dragon palm squeezed his human hand. Contract was concluded. When do we leave? I asked. In a week. You need to fully recover, then we'll depart for Ark headquarters. Where is it? Bai Long smiled mysteriously. On an island that doesn't exist on maps. In a place where spirits can't reach, yet. He turned to the exit but stopped at the door. By the way, Chen Hao, Old Man Wang is alive. He fled after the kaiju broke free. Our scouts are tracking him. Want us to deliver him to you? For justice? I imagined the old man bound and helpless before me. A month ago I would have agreed without hesitation. Would have killed him. Devoured his power. But now... No, I said. Let him live. Knowing he awakened the kaiju and destroyed his own guild will be punishment worse than death. Bai Long nodded with respect. As you say. He left a week later. May 5th, 2024. I stood on headquarters roof looking at the city. Workers restored destroyed buildings. Life slowly returned to something resembling normalcy. But the world changed forever. Feng approached beside me. You ready for a new chapter? I looked at my hands. Scales glistened in morning light. Claws were retracted, but I felt them constantly. I no longer know who I am, I admitted. Not human, not dragon, something in between. You're what you decide to be. Feng placed a hand on my shoulder. Tattoos give power but don't define personality. You choose whether to become hero or monster. What if I'm already a monster? After what I did to Liu May? Feng was silent for long, then said, We're all monsters in the new world, Chen Hao. The question isn't whether you're a monster or not. The question is, what do you use your monstrosity for? For yourself or for others? I looked down at the people restoring the city. They lived because I defeated the kaiju. They would have died if I hadn't risked. Maybe Feng is right. Maybe I can still be something more than just a power devourer. Let's go, I said. Transport is waiting. We descended down where everyone who decided to join the Eternal Ark had gathered. Feng Yuan, Master of Spirit Summoning. Lin Xiao, Scout and Tactician. Joe Ming, Fire General. And 37 more people, the best fighters of my army. Bai Long waited by the transport, a huge flying ship hidden by illusion tattoos. "Everyone ready?" he asked. I nodded. We boarded. The ship soared into the air, leaving the city behind. I looked out the window, watching my little kingdom shrink. The system blinked one last time. First arc complete. Achievements: Awakening survived. Kaiju defeated Tattoo. Devouring mastered power 10,548. Status: Semi-Dragon. Next arc: Eternal Ark. New trials: training under legendary masters. Faction war within Ark. Preparation for Second Awakening. Revealing mystery: who created ancient spirits and why. Final goal: save humanity, or become its new god. I closed the system window. Ahead was a new path, new enemies, new battles, but this time I wasn't alone. This time I had a goal bigger than just revenge. I looked at Feng, Lin, Joe Ming, at everyone who followed me, and for the first time in a long while felt something besides cold calculation. Hope. Maybe I can still change the future. Maybe this time everything will be different. The ship rushed toward the horizon where the Eternal Ark awaited, where the real war would begin. May 6th, 2024. Morning. The ship had been flying over ocean for 8 hours already. I stood by the window watching endless blue below. Water stretched to the horizon without a single sign of land. We're far from civilization, Lin approached beside me. I lost orientation 3 hours ago. Don't even know which ocean we're over. Pacific, Bai Long answered, appearing behind us. Coordinates are classified. The ship flies along a route protected by illusory barriers. Even satellites can't detect us. He approached the control panel and pressed several runes. A holographic map materialized before us. On it was an island. Huge, 30 kilometers long, 20 wide. Shape resembled a dragon curled in a ring. In the center, a mountain, peak hidden in clouds. Longmen Island, Bai Long announced. Dragon Gate? Built 3,000 years ago by ancient civilization. Sank during a cataclysm. Rose again 7 years ago, shortly before the awakening. Why headquarters here? Feng asked. Because it's a place of power. Concentration of spiritual energy here is 100 times higher than on mainland. Tattoos grow faster, training more effective. But most importantly, he pointed to the mountain in center. The primordial dragon is sealed there. First of the ancient spirits. Power 150,000. If it breaks free, will destroy continents. But while it sleeps, its energy feeds the island's barriers, making it impregnable. 150,000? 3 times more than me in dragon form. What if it wakes up? Joe Ming asked. Bai Long looked at him with cold gaze. Then we all die. Quickly. Silence hung in the cabin. The ship began descending. Through clouds, the island emerged, and breath caught. The island was paradise. Emerald forests covered slopes. Waterfalls cascaded from cliffs. Crystal clear rivers flowed between hills. On the coast, white sand beaches. But most impressive, the city. It was built in tiers on central mountain slopes. Hundreds of buildings in Asian style. Pagodas, temples, palaces, all of white stone with golden roofs. Between them stretched suspension bridges, flying platforms, vertical gardens. At mountain peak, citadel. Huge fortress of black obsidian, towers reaching into clouds. Around it circled dragons. Real dragons. Not tattoos, living creatures. Dozens of them, different sizes and colors. This is... Lin couldn't find words. The Eternal Ark. Bai Long smiled with pride. Humanity's last hope. The ship landed on a platform at city base. A delegation met us. At the head stood a woman about 35. Tall, athletic, in white uniform with gold epaulets. Hair ash gray, gathered in strict bun. Eyes color of ice. But most striking was the tattoo. It covered her entire right arm from shoulder to fingertips. Image of 9-tailed fox, each tail coiled around arm, forming complex pattern. Fox eyes glowed silver. The system scanned her. Name, Sulin. Power, 18,934. Class, Mistress of Illusions rank, Arc General. 18,000, almost twice me. Su Lin, I remembered this name from my past life. The seductress, mistress of Northern Territories, one of 3 tyrants. But here she was, Ark General? The timeline was changing more and more. Su Lin stepped forward, her gaze slid over our group and stopped on me. So you're Chen Hao, Kaiju Slayer, Tattoo Devourer. Voice was cold, evaluating. General Su Lin, Bai Long introduced us. Commander of Ark Defensive Forces. I heard of your exploits. She walked around me in a circle, studying. Power 10,548. Not bad for a rookie, but on the Ark you won't even enter top 100. Is that a challenge? I looked her in the eyes. She smirked. No, just fact. Here gathered the strongest from around the world. Each has legendary tattoo. Average power 12,000, top 10 exceed 30,000. 30,000, 3 times me. But don't worry, she patted my shoulder patronizingly. If you train hard and don't die on missions, in a couple years maybe you'll reach top 50. A couple years, when I had 5 months until Second Awakening. Let's go, she turned. I'll show barracks, then orientation. We followed her into the city. Ark streets were filled with people. All without exception wore tattoos. Rare, legendary, mythical. I saw beasts, demons, gods, runic patterns of incredible complexity. Power here was the norm. No one looked sideways at a person with burning eyes or claws instead of hands. I, with my dragon scales, didn't stand out at all. Ark population 3,247 people, Su Lin narrated, leading us down Main Street. All personally selected. Criteria: power above 5,000, legendary tattoo or higher, loyalty to humanity. Who selects? Feng asked. Council of 5. 5 strongest bearers who founded Ark. And who are they? Su Lin stopped before a large building, barracks, judging by the sign. First, Long Tian Dragon Lord. Power 67,000. Tattoo Heavenly Emperor Dragon, founder and Ark leader. 67,000. Incredible. Second, Yao Fei, War Goddess. Power 54,000. Tattoo Thousand Armed Ashura. Third, Mo Wen, Ruin Sage. Power 49,000. Tattoo World Tree Yggdrasil. Fourth, Tengu Rei, Shadow Lord. Power 52,000. Tattoo Demon King. Fifth, me. She smiled coldly. Su Lin, Mistress of Illusions. Power 18,934. Weakest on council, but most cunning. I digested the information. 5 monsters with power from 18,000 to 67,000. Any of them could crush me like insect. You'll meet them in a week, Su Lin continued. After basic evaluation and testing. But now, placement. She opened the barracks door. Inside was spacious. Bunk beds, lockers, shared bathroom. Spartan but clean. Men in this wing, women in adjacent. Tomorrow at 6 a.m. wake up. First training at 7. Late. You go without breakfast. She turned to exit, but I stopped her with question. What about Old Man Wang? Bai Long said you're tracking him. Su Lin turned. Wang Zhen captured 3 days ago. Currently in prison block, awaiting trial. Can I see him? She narrowed her eyes. Why? Personal matter. Long pause. Fine. Tomorrow after training, 15 minutes, no more. She left. May 7th, 6 o'clock. Wake up was brutal. Siren roared through all barracks. Light flashed, blinding. Everyone to parade ground. 5 minutes. I jumped up, quickly dressed. Others did same. We ran out to parade ground, huge square before barracks. About 200 people already gathered, recruits of recent months. At front stood instructor, Man Mountain, 2.5 meters tall, muscles like boulders. Entire body covered with tattoos. Tigers, bears, bulls intertwined in one complex pattern. System scanned, name, Iron Tai, power 15,678, class Armageddon Beast. Position, Chief Recruit Instructor. Listen up, maggots, his voice thundered. I'm Iron Tai. Next 3 months I'll turn you from pathetic rookies into real warriors, or kill you in process. Don't care. He walked before the formation. Rule 1. On Ark, there are no weak. There are dead and those who haven't died yet. Want to survive? Become stronger. Rule 2. Your previous life ended. Here doesn't matter who you were. Lord, merchant, bandit. Everyone starts from 0. Rule 3, hierarchy determined by power. Want respect? Earn it in battle. He stopped before me. You, Chen Hao, Kaiju Slayer? Think you're special? No. Right, because here there are dozens like you. Fought Ancient Spirit? Tai Wei over there. He pointed to guy in back row. Killed 3, solo. I looked at Tai Wei. Young, about 25. Thin, almost fragile. But eyes were dead. System scanned. Name, Tai Wei. Power, 21,045. Class, Godslayer, 21,000. Twice me. So forget your fame. Iron Tai returned to Parade Ground Center. Here you're nobody. Proving otherwise, your job. He clapped hands. First exercise, running. 100 laps around mountain. 1 lap distance, 3 kilometers. Begin. 100 laps. 300 kilometers. Someone groaned. You have problem? Iron Tai turned to sound source. Then 200 laps for everyone. Groans stopped. Run! We ran. First 50 kilometers were tolerable. My dragon endurance helped. Breathing was even, muscles didn't tire. But at 70th kilometer, problems began. Not physical, mental. Voices whispered in head. Weakling, unworthy, die. Echo of devoured tattoos. Feng warned about this. Others' souls imprisoned in my body tried to seize control. I gritted teeth, pushing through mental attack. Silence. I'm master of this body. Voices intensified. At 100th kilometer, I began stumbling. Lin ran beside, noticed. Chen Hao, are you okay? Yes, I rasped, though it was lie. Voices screamed now. Dozens of voices, all demanding control. At 120th kilometer, fell. Knees buckled. I crashed onto track, breathing heavily. Iron Tai materialized beside. Problem, rookie? No, getting up now. Devoured souls rebelling? He crouched. Yeah, no symptoms. You're devourer, right? I nodded. How many devoured? 38. He whistled. In 3 weeks? Too fast. Mental integration can't keep up. Souls accumulate, demand outlet. What to do? Either learn to subjugate them, or they'll devour you from within. Meditation helps, mental discipline, or... He took out small vial with golden liquid. Spirit suppression elixir, 500 credits per dose, temporarily silences voices for week. 500 credits. I didn't even know what that was. I have no money. Then suffer, he stood, or learn to control. Your choice. He left. I lay on track, fighting voices. Feng ran up, helped me stand. I warned. Devouring has price. I know. I leaned on him. Help me reach finish. We limped to finish last. After training, Su Lin led me to prison block. It was underground, carved in rock. Cells weren't ordinary, each surrounded by barrier of glowing runes. Magic seals, Su Lin explained. Suppress tattoos. Prisoner becomes ordinary human. We stopped at last cell. Inside sat Old Man Wang. He looked terrible. Lost weight, paled, hair grayed even more. Golden dragon on his arm was dim, almost invisible. He raised head, saw me. Mixed feeling flashed in eyes, fear and hatred. Chen Hao, 15 minutes. Su Lin moved to the exit, leaving us alone. I approached the barrier. The old man crawled to the corner. Don't come closer. Don't you dare. Relax. I sat on the floor opposite the cell. I'm not going to kill you. He blinked, not believing. What? I told Bai Long, let you live. Knowing you destroyed your own empire is better than any revenge. The old man looked at me with a long gaze, then laughed, bitterly, insanely. You're right, I awakened the kaiju. To kill you. Instead, it destroyed my guild, all my people, all my business. He buried his face in his knees. I lost everything, because of greed, because of fear of you. Silence. I stood. In my past life, you betrayed me, Old Man Wang. Used my trust, killed my people. He raised his head, incomprehension in his eyes. Past life? I didn't explain. Live with this knowledge that your greed destroyed you, twice. I turned to the exit. Chen Hao, he shouted after me. You're walking the same path. Hunger for power will consume you, like it consumed me. I stopped at the door, didn't turn around. I know, I said quietly. That's why I'm here, to learn to control it. I left the prison. Sulin waited outside. Got what you wanted? Yes, closure. We returned to the surface. In the evening, a recruit assembly was held. Iron Tai announced the schedule. Next 3 months, training 7 to 12. Lunch, combat trials 14 to 18. Dinner. Free time until 22. Lights out. Once a week, tournament. Fight each other. Winners get credits. Losers, penalty assignments. Once a month, field mission. Survival in wild zone or clearing low-level spirits. Mortality rate, 20%. Someone raised a hand. 20%? Every 5th mission is lethal? No, Iron Tai smirked. Every 5th recruit dies, on average. Deathly silence. Welcome to Eternal Ark, maggots. Here you'll either become war gods or fertilizer for gardens. Assembly ended. I returned to barracks, fell on bed. Voices in head still whispered, but quieter. Fatigue drowned them out. Feng sat on neighboring bunk. Long day. Yeah. Think you'll manage? I looked at ceiling, remembered statistics. Top 10 exceed 30,000 power. I had 5 months to triple my strength. Impossible by ordinary standards. But I had advantage, tattoo devouring. If I kill enough enemies? No, not enemies. Ancient spirits. Then I'll become strong enough. I'll manage, I answered. Not the first time surviving hell. Feng nodded. Then rest. Tomorrow will be worse. Light went out. I closed my eyes. System blinked one last time before sleep. New chapter, training begun. Goal. Reach 30,000 power in 150 days. Progress, 0 over 150. Current power, 10,548. Warning, hidden mission detected. Mystery of the Ark. Council of 5 hides truth about Second Awakening investigate and reveals secret hidden mission? I opened my eyes, but system already faded. Council hides truth. About what? Questions without answers, but I'd find them, as always. May 14th. Recruit Arena. A week passed in fog of pain and sweat. Each day 300 kilometers running, 5 hours combat exercises, 2 hours meditation for controlling devoured souls. I fell into bed like dead and woke up broken, but power grew. Power. 10,548 to 11,234. 686 points in a week, not from devouring but from pure training. Concentration of spiritual energy on island did its work. Now came the day of first tournament. Arena was carved in rock. Amphitheater for 3,000 seats. All tiers filled, Ark veterans came to watch new meat. 200 recruits gathered on arena sand. Iron Tai stood in center. Rules are simple, he barked. One-on-one fights, random draw. Winner gets 500 credits. Loser, penalty assignment for week. Killing forbidden. Maiming at your discretion. Can surrender anytime. He activated rune on ground. Hologram displayed fighter pairs. My name flashed next to another. Chen Hao versus Jiang Feng. System scanned opponent. Name Jiang Feng. Power 9,876. Class Blood Swordmaster. Tattoo Demon Samurai Legendary. Almost 10,000. Weaker than me, but not by much. Jiang Feng entered arena from other side. Man about 30, scar across left eye. Demon tattoo and samurai armor covered his entire back and arms. In right hand materialized katana. Not real sword, but projection from tattoo energy. He pointed blade at me. Heard of you, Devourer. Killed Kaiju? Impressive, but here you're just rookie. I entered arena center. Didn't answer. Conserved energy. Iron Tai raised hand. Fight until first blood. Loss of consciousness or surrender. Begin. Hand dropped. Jiang Feng vanished. Didn't run, teleported, his demon's ability. He appeared behind my back, sword already descending on neck. Fast, but I was faster. Speed runes on legs flashed. I stepped forward, not running, instant movement 3 meters. Blade cut air behind me. I turned, activated Fire Wing. Stream of flame poured at Jiang Feng. He teleported again, evading. Appeared left, sword slashed my side. HP, 10,234 over 11,234. Blood spurted. Shallow cut, but first blood spilled. Crowd roared. First blood to Jiang Feng. But fight didn't end. First blood rule meant you could continue until someone fell or surrendered. Zhang Feng smirked. You're slow for someone who killed Titan. Haven't shown speed yet, I answered. Activated dragon power. Scales on arms glowed, eyes flashed gold. Dragon on back came alive. Not transformation, just partial awakening. Partial dragonization. Power. 11,234 to 16,851 plus 50%, 16,000. Zhang Feng sensed change. His smirk faded. I vanished. Speed runes plus dragon power. I moved faster than human eye could track. Appeared before Zhang Feng. Fist covered with earth armor crashed into his stomach. Strike lifted him meter in air. Ribs crunched. He teleported, trying to create distance. Appeared 10 meters away, clutching stomach. Blood flowed from mouth. What the... I didn't let him finish. Lightning Wing released discharge. Purple energy pierced distance in fraction of second. Zhang Feng teleported again, but moments slower. Lightning grazed his left shoulder. He screamed, collapsed on knee. Arm holding sword smoked. Smell of burned meat. I approached calmly. Surrender. He looked at me through veil of pain. Pride fought with survival instinct. Pride lost. I surrender, he rasped. Iron Tai announced, winner, Chen Hao. Crowd roared, but differently now. Not mockingly, but with respect. Rookie who defeated veteran with almost 10,000 power in a minute. Healers ran onto arena, lifted Zhang Feng, led him to treatment. I returned to waiting zone. Fing nodded approvingly. Controlled, efficient, good. Lin whispered, you showed dragonization. Now everyone knows your ability. Let them know, I answered. Here it's no secret. Everyone saw tattoo on back. Joe Ming was silent, his gaze thoughtful. What? I asked. You used only half strength, he said quietly. Full dragonization would give you even more. Why did you stop? I looked at arena where next fight began. Because I don't want to lose control. Full transformation, I might not come back. Joe Ming nodded understandingly. Other fights continued. By evening, tournament ended. Of 200 recruits, 100 remained, first round winners. I was among them. Iron Tai announced results. Tomorrow, second round. 50 fights. Winners get 1,000 credits and access to Treasure Hall. Treasure Hall. Place where artifacts, techniques, elixirs were stored. There I could buy spirit suppression elixir and manuscripts about soul control. I needed to win once more. May 15th. Second round. Draw matched me with a more serious opponent, Chen Hao versus Liu May. Power, 13,456. Class, Poison Mistress Tattoo, Thousand-Eyed Hydra. Mythical, 13,500. More than me without dragonization. Liu May was woman about 28. Slender, beautiful, but eyes absolutely cold. Hydra tattoo coiled around her torso, each of 9 snake heads ending on different body parts. Eyes on snakes glowed green. Poison. She entered arena without looking at me. Surrender now, she said monotonously. My poison won't kill, but will paralyze for week. Loss of training time. Not best idea. No, I answered. She shrugged. Your choice. Fight began. Liu May opened mouth. All 9 snakeheads on her tattoo did same. Green fog burst out, filling arena. Poison cloud. I held breath, activated Ice Wing. Cold froze fog, turning it into green crystals that crumbled to sand. Liu May frowned, first emotion on her face. Interesting. Snakeheads materialized, became physical. 9 hydras, 2 meters tall, each surrounded me. They attacked simultaneously from 9 sides. Fangs dripping poison aimed at neck, arms, legs, torso. I activated partial dragonization. Power, 11,234 to 16,851. Water shield created barrier around me. Snakes crashed into it, fangs slid off water. But poison seeped through barrier. Drops touched my skin. Burning. Numbness spread from contact point. Warning, neutralizing type poison. Power minus 15%. Every 10 seconds. Curse, needed to finish quickly. I accelerated Lightning Wing to full power. Purple discharges exploded in all directions. 3 hydras evaporated, too weak to withstand. Remaining 6 retreated, hissing. Liu May activated final technique. All 6 remaining hydras began merging. Their bodies united, forming one huge, 10 meters long, thick as tree. Hydra fusion. Attack power. 20,000, 20,000. More than me, even with dragonization. Hydra lunged forward, maw open, fangs size of daggers. I had choice, full transformation or defeat. But full transformation meant risk of losing control. I chose third option, activated tattoo devouring. Not on Liu May. She was ally, Ark wouldn't approve killing between recruits, but on Hydra. Black gold threads exploded from my hands, coiled around materialized snake. Hydra shrieked, not physical voice, but mental. Its energy began sucking into me. Liu May screamed, "What are you doing? That's my power." "Borrowing," I answered through teeth. Devouring wasn't complete. I couldn't steal tattoo from living opponent without killing. But temporarily suppress projection, that was possible. Hydra dissolved, transforming into pure energy that flowed into me. Temporary absorption plus 2,000 power for 5 minutes. Power 16,851 to 18,000 to 851. 18,000. I lunged forward. Liu May tried to summon new snakes but was exhausted. Fusion cost too much energy. I appeared before her, fist stopped a centimeter from face. Surrender. She looked at me with shock and rage, then slowly raised hands. I surrender. Crowd exploded with ovations. Iron Tai announced winner, his voice sounding surprised. Chen Hao, victory through. He hesitated. Absorption of opponent's projection. Unconventional tactic. Counts. I returned to waiting zone. Feng looked at me with concern. You used devouring on living opponent. Only on projection, she wasn't harmed. But you showed ability publicly. Now everyone knows. You've become target. I looked at tiers where veterans sat. Many looked at me with new interest. Some with greed, others with fear. Tattoo Devourer was valuable ability, and dangerous. Those with enemies saw weapon in me. Those with secrets saw threat, but one gaze worried me most. On highest tier in VIP box sat figure in white robes, woman of incredible beauty, long black hair, golden eyes, tattoos covered her arms, thousands of tiny hands intertwined in complex pattern. System scanned. Name, Yao Fei. Power, 54,237. Class War Goddess rank, Council of 5. Yao Fei, second strongest on Ark. She looked at me with expression I couldn't decipher. Interest, curiosity, or something more sinister. Our gazes met for a moment. She smiled. Cold, predatory smile. Then stood and left box. System blinked. Warning, you attracted council members' interest. Yao Fei marked you as interesting consequences, unknown. Excellent. Attracted attention of one of 5 strongest people on island. This could be good, or very, very bad. Evening? Treasure Hall. Second round winners gained access. Hall was huge, underground cave size of stadium. Everywhere shelves, display cases, safes, thousands of items. Weapons, armor, scrolls, elixirs, artifacts, each marked with price and credits. I received 1,500 credits for 2 victories, enough for average elixir or cheap manuscript. I sought 2 things: spirit suppression elixir soul control technique. Found first quickly. Spirit suppression elixir. Price, 500 credits. Effect, suppresses devoured souls' voices for 7 days. Bought 3 vials. 1,500 credits. Second searched longer. Finally, in far corner on shelf with dusty manuscripts found technique, prison of 1,000 souls. Price, 3,000 credits. Description, ancient technique creating mental space for storing devoured souls. Prevents their influence on master's consciousness. 3,000. I didn't have them. But then noticed other option. Rental 100 credits per day. Rental. I could take manuscript for day, copy technique to memory, return. Problem. Nothing to pay with. All credits spent on elixirs. Need credits? Voice sounded behind me. I turned. Before me stood young man about 25. Handsome, almost feminine. Long white hair, ice-colored eyes, dressed in expensive white clothes with gold embroidery. Tattoos covered his neck and arms. Tree, enormous. Branches stretching in all directions. Leaves shimmered with all rainbow colors. System scanned. Name, Mo Wen. Power, 49,123. Class, Ruin Sage rank, Council of 5. Third Council member, Master of Yggdrasil Tree. He smiled softly. Chen Hao, correct? Tattoo Devourer, I saw your fight. Impressive. Thank you, I answered cautiously. You need soul prison, he nodded at manuscript. Wise choice. Without control, devoured souls will drive you mad in a month. I know, but I have no credits. I can lend, he extended hand. Credit card materialized. Holographic chip. 3,000 credits, interest-free loan. I looked at cards suspiciously. In return? In return, you perform one favor for me. Later, when I ask. Classic devil's bargain. What favor? Don't know yet, he shrugged. But when needed, you won't refuse, once. Any task not directly threatening your life. I weighed options. Council of 5 member offering help. Could be useful contact, or trap. But without soul control technique, I wouldn't last long. Deal, I took card. Mo Wen smiled wider. Excellent. Welcome to my debt, Chen Hao. Hope you won't regret. He turned and left, dissolving in crowd of shoppers. System blinked. Warning, debt contract concluded. Creditor, Mo Wen, Council of 5. Debt, 3,000 credits, plus 1 favor. Non-fulfillment, consequences unknown. I bought manuscript and left hall. 3 days I spent studying Prison of Thousand Souls. Technique was complex. Required creating mental space inside own consciousness. Prison of thought walls where souls stored separately from my mind. Process was agonizing. Each soul resisted, screamed, clawed, tried to break free, but on 4th day I finished. 38 devoured souls were locked in mental prison. Voices quieted. For first time in weeks, silence in my head. I could think clearly. Sleep without nightmares. Technique mastered. Prison of Thousand Souls. Effect. Devoured souls no longer affect psyche. Bonus plus 20% to tattoo. Devouring effectiveness. 20%. Meant now I'd gain more power from each devouring. Good. Because soon would be first field mission. And there I plan to devour Ancient Spirit. May 21st. Mission announcement. Irontie gathered all recruits. In 3 days, first field operation. You'll divide into teams of 5. Each team receives assignment. Hologram displayed list. Mission A, Wild Zone Clearing, difficulty low. Mission B, Caravan Escort, difficulty medium. Mission C, Ancient Spirit Assassination, Stone Guardian. Difficulty high, Stone Guardian. Power, 8,500, 8,500. Weaker than Kaiju I killed. But reward, 500 credits, plus right to take Spirit Core. Power source. Spirit Core, if I devour it. System calculated. Estimated core absorption, plus 3,000 to 5,000 power. 5,000 would raise me to 16,000 plus. I raised hand. I take Mission C. Irontie looked at me. Alone? No, with team. I turned to Feng, Lin, and Joe Ming. All 3 nodded. Need one more, Irontie said. Team, 5 people. Voice sounded from crowd. I'll go. Everyone turned. From ranks emerged that same guy, Tai Wei. Godslayer. Power 21,000. He approached me, looked in eyes. Heard you're strong. Want to see myself. I studied him. Dead eyes. Scars on arms. Tattoo, black sword-piercing heart. Dangerous, unpredictable, but strong. Welcome to team, I said. Tai Wei nodded. Irontie recorded composition. Chen Hao team, Feng Yuan, Lin Xiao, Joe Ming, Tai Wei. Mission C, departure in 3 days. Prepare. Assembly ended. I returned to barracks. System blinked. New chapter, Spirit Hunt. Goal, kill Stone Guardian. Reward, Spirit Core plus power growth. Additional goal, reveal mystery. Why spirits awakening before deadline? Second awakening should be in 5 months. But Stone Guardian already active. Something didn't add up, and I plan to find out what.